So UFC Kansas City may be today, but we got some massive fight news coming out. I'm gonna run through it pretty quickly. A bunch of fights that have just recently come out. The UFC Atlanta card, the UFC Louisiana card as a main event, as you all know, it was going to be Dustin Poirier. Azerbaijan has a good co-main event, and we're just gonna talk a little bit about those fights. And we're gonna start with the most important one: Max Holloway versus Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. I was gonna say Dustin Gaethje. I don't know what's good with me. Um, First of all, I want to say that this is a sick fight. It's going to be a very entertaining fight, very fun. And these guys are going to go to war. It's going to be an absolute scrap, high output, probably going to go all 5 rounds. My thing is, we've seen it twice, and it's gone the same way twice, but I'm not that upset about it. Like, yes, would I have preferred other matchups? I think so. I think that I think it should have been Poirier versus Gaethje. That's a trilogy. That's 1-1. Fits the demands of Dustin Poirier. Hey, I want to go out against a legend. I think Poirier also said he would prefer to have faced Ilia Topuria or Justin Gaethje, but the UFC was not able to do that, which makes me think that the UFC really is going to make sure that it's going to be Ilia versus Islam. So I feel really good about that. The Justin Gaethje one, I feel like it would have made sense. Maybe Gaethje didn't want to turn around that quickly. I don't know. I just thought Gaethje versus Poirier would have made more sense. They're 1-1 in their trilogy. Poirier got knocked out last time. The first time Gaethje got knocked out, both these times it was a Dustin Poirier win. So Dustin Poirier is 2-0 against Max now. I actually think that Max can get this one. I think he will too, but I'm not going to make an official prediction yet because there's a lot more that needs to go into this because they are both two of the better boxers at lightweight. Ilya's probably the best. I will say Ilya's because when you combine the power, it's unmatched. These might be the next two best guys at boxing in the division. So personally, I think this is a sick fight. Would I have preferred others? Yes. Would I have preferred the Gaethje fight? Yes. Would I have preferred the Hooker fight? I think so as well. And the reason being, it'll be a war. It's a legend. And it's a little bit more winnable for Poirier, in my honest opinion. That's what I wanted to see Poirier go out in a win. I think he can lose to Holloway here. He could lose to Hooker too, and he could lose to Gaethje too. But I like his chances better against both those guys. And I know that's crazy to say considering that Gaethje knocked him out last time, but he kind of just chucked a head kick up there and knocked him out. It was a close first round. I think Poirier won the first round based off of damage. He had Gaethje not able to see because he punched him right in the eye. But Gaethje ended up kind of just throwing a same-side head kick that caught Poirier. I don't think Poirier's getting caught with that same weapon this time. So I would have liked to see it be Gaethje. Would have liked to see it be Hooker. Would have loved to see it be Arman Tsarukyan, but I kind of get why it's not. You kind of want just a stand-up war. And honestly, if you put Max, you have an excuse to make this the main event of the card by putting a fake belt on the line. Love Max Holloway. Ilya's kind of the BMF champ right now. I'm just going to say that. And I'm not going to be like the guy that's like, it has to be lineal. Technically, Bilal's the BMF champ. I'm not saying that because Bilal, we know the fight styles. Ilya has the fight style where you can look at him and go, yeah, it's the BMF champ. The way he fights, that's the BMF champ, dude. He's a bad dude. He knocks out the people that don't get knocked out. Knocks out the best guys in the world. So, Max versus Dustin happening. Main event of the Louisiana card, UFC 318 on June 19th. It's going to be a sick card. I think they really stacked this card. It kind of reminds me of what they did in Salt Lake City when it was Gaethje versus Poirier, where they had really good fights underneath it. They had Pimlet versus maybe it was Bobby Green versus Ferguson. I think it was. They had Pereira versus Blachowicz. Who else did they have? I don't remember, but I remember they kind of stacked the card pretty good. So it was a really, really good card. They had, even the prelims were great. You had Kopylov. You had, it was Kopylov versus Hiberio. Vergara was the pretty boring fight. I think it was Vergara versus Vinicius Salvador or something like that. It was a pretty boring fight. But other than that, the card was really good. It's just hard for me to remember every single card that comes on. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But I think we had no, we didn't have a fighting nerd. I don't remember. I'm not going to spend my time thinking about it, but the fights that I'd like to see for this card, let's get you're going to have Brendan Allen on this card. He's from Louisiana. Brendan Allen, Marvin Vettori. It's a bad blood matchup. Make that one happen. Put it on the card. You can have a Mauricio. If you don't put Mauricio Hufi on International Fight Week, you put him on this card. 100%. Honestly, you know what else I would do? I would make Moicano versus Hooker as a co-main for this. I think that's a great co-main event. Moicano, Hooker, co-main. Gene Silva versus Lerone Murphy feature fight. Brendan Allen, Marvin Vettori is the fourth fight. And then you have a main card opener with some star that you're trying to promote, like a Kevin Vallejos if he's not on International Fight Week, someone like that. So I think Holloway Poirier is going to be a great fight. It's a little weird of a matchup to make, but you know what? I'm not too upset about it. Like, this is a good fight. I'm not going to complain about a good fight that they put on. And honestly, I think this kind of opens up the lightweight division a little bit. This kind of opens us up to say, okay, Gaethje's going to be fighting probably Paddy Pimblett. Maybe they rebook the Dan Hooker matchup and Paddy waits. Because Paddy's okay with waiting. They're going to have Topuria fight Islam. So then you have Arman kind of hanging around there as well. Maybe they do Arman versus Dan Hooker. Paddy versus Gaethje. You can do stuff like that now. So it all makes sense. It's starting to really come together, come around. You have to have Topuria fight for the title if that's the case. So I think this is good. I think this means Topuria's fighting for the title, if I'm being honest. We're going to go to another fight that was made. The Hood Classic we've all been waiting for, dude. I've been waiting for this fight for so long. They finally made it. I'm happy the UFC put it together. It's a great fight. Usman versus Buckley. Buckley's deserved this for a long time now. He's deserved this fight. Called it out and he got it. I like how active Buckley's been. Granted, he hasn't fought since December, but he fought 4 times in 2024. In March, he fought Luque, got a finish. In May, he fought Ruzaboyev, dominant decision. Against a dangerous guy, too. And then he fought next in October, so 5 months later, got a finish over Wonderboy, and then turns around 2 months later and fights what was supposed to be Ian Gary, ends up destroying Colby Covington. So now he's going to take this fight June 14th, 6 months later. He's fully rested. He's been training very hard. Go check out his Instagram because his hype videos are legit as fuck. Like, I think this guy is actually a star in the making. I'm going to keep it real. I think he's a star waiting to happen. I like the way he yaps. He's confident. He's charismatic. And his fight style is amazing. He already has a tremendous highlight reel. Especially with the kick he had at 185 against Impa. This guy's a monster. And Usman's no joke. I actually think Usman can have some success in this fight. I think it could be a little tricky for Buckley at times, but ultimately, I think Buckley's going to put on a world-class performance. I really, really do. Usman's jab's going to be tricky, but I just think Usman's going to start too slow. He hasn't fought in quite some time, and listen, ring rust is a thing. It is a thing. And Buckley moves very well. I think he has good cardio. I don't see an issue with cardio. I don't know that Usman's going to be able to wrestle Buckley that well. I think he's going to have some moments, but I think Buckley can also kind of hold Usman against the cage, land knees. He's a little more dynamic with he is definitely more dynamic with the kicks. And that might be what does it. Buckley kind of like moves his head, wings in, throws hooks. I think he can finish combinations with kicks. I think Buckley wins his fight. And if he wins this fight, now you're looking at a resume of Luque, Ruzaboyev, Wonderboy, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman. He's above Ian Gary. If you win this fight, you can have Joaquin Buckley versus the loser of the title fight in May. And if he wins that one, he's getting a title shot after Brady Rachmanov do their thing. Because I really do think they should do Sean Brady versus Shavkat Rachmanov. If they automatically give it to Shavkat Rachmanov, I think that's fucking gay as fuck, but is what it is. But you also have to consider Islam Makhachev. If he beats Topuria, he's like, dude, I'm moving up. So you're going to have this little bit of a logjam. I like the activity from Joaquin Buckley here. Be active. Have a big name. Great main event for the Atlanta card. Now, I do think the Atlanta card's kind of weak. So what I'm going to do in the coming weeks, I'm going to make a Louisiana card builder. Before that, though, I'm going to make this Atlanta card builder. I'm going to see what fights are already on the card. I'm going to add a couple to make it great. So the co-main events, Miranda Maverick versus Rose Namajunas. I don't fucking care about that fight at all. Make a big feature fight, a big contenders fight. Let me pull up some names in the rankings here. Someone that could fight on this card. Like, I want ranked contenders, right? You're putting Rose on the card. Fine, you're gonna have two Trevor Whitman nights. You're two guys for Trevor Whitman. Look at bantamweight and go, okay, bantamweight's kind of got everyone almost already booked up. Do like at featherweight, do like an Aljo versus an Arnold Allen. Do like an Aljo versus a Aljo versus Brian Ortega. Great addition to that. I think that's a really good addition to that. And then you can also have, as another fight, nothing too crazy. Maybe you put MVP on the card. You could put MVP on the card against someone you're trying to bring into the rankings, or you could do like MVP versus Wonder Boy. You can do fights like that. I just think it makes sense. Stack these cards. Stack these crowded fight nights. You have shit Apex cards anyway. Stack the crowded fight nights. I think this is a sick fight. I'm going to go with Buckley. I'm leaning Buckley, though. And then the next couple we'll talk about quickly. Fiziev got his matchup at Azerbaijan, fighting Ignacio Bahamondes, the co-main event. Did they move Bahamondes out of the rankings? No way. They did. They put Joel Alvarez in the rankings. They keep flipping Bahamondes and Joel. Dude, Joel Alvarez deserves the rankings on it. Like, he's honestly a very, very talented fighter. But Ignacio Bahamondes beat Jalen Turner in the first round, who was ranked. Bahamondes should be ranked. Above Benoit Saint-Denis, I would argue, at this point. Above Michael Chandler. Like, dude. I don't know. I don't agree with many of these at all. Fiziev versus Bahamondes is a sick fight. We got to see it happen. We are going to see it happen. I'm doing this like it's a matchmaking video. This is a sick fight. I actually think it's going to be tricky for Fiziev, especially the range. Taking this after his fight with Gaethje, where he took some damage quite a bit in the second round with that uppercut. Whew. Justin Gaethje and uppercuts in round 2, man. It's tricky. This is a tough fight for Fiziev, but he's the only guy in UFC history from Azerbaijan. So you have to have him on the card. I would have liked to see him go against honestly a hooker for a main event. That would have been sick, but he's not going to get that shot up in the rankings again. He's had a couple chances now. This is a great fight. Good co-main event to the Hill and Roundtree fight. You add one more, someone from that area. I think you have Tagir on the card, so you're going to have people watching because it's Tagir. You add a couple people from that Caucasus region, I think this is going to stack up and be a good card. So, Fiziev Bahamondes, great fight. Tricky for Fiziev. Really tricky for Fiziev. I might lean Bahamondes, but we'll see when we get closer. I'm not making that decision right now. Moving on. Gamrot versus Klein on the May 31st card. Co-main eventing for Barber versus Blanchfield. Now, Barber versus Blanchfield should be a shit fight. Erin Blanchfield does not get into fun fights. I think she's very overrated. Her striking is mid. She's great grappling. Maycee Barber's actually a fun fighter. Not just because it's great to watch the screen when she's on, but she's a great fighter. Like, she's very good, and she's high output, and she lands to hurt you. Like, she throws damaging shots, and that's what I want to see. So they're main eventing. Tough. But I would imagine this is the co-main event. Number 7 ranked Mateusz Gamrot getting done dirty by having to fight this low in the rankings against Ludovic Klein. But you know what? I think Gamrot has a good chance to win this one. I actually think this is a tricky one for him. It's just, this is a really well, evenly matched fight. It's just, like, Ludovic Klein has these fights where it's like he looks really good. Like, he is very good. But he never looks to the point where you're like, this guy's a champ. He doesn't. It's just he goes out there, he gets wins, he's very well-rounded. I actually think his striking is much better than Mateusz Gamrot's, especially the kicks. But I think Gamrot's just a dog in there when he goes for his takedown. So this is a good fight. Glad they made it. I kind of think Gamrot's being a little disrespected. So look at this. Where's the Gamrot guy? I enjoy these fights. The UFC's finally starting to put it together. I think that when they start putting these ones together, it means that the fans are doing their thing. Like, they're listening to the fans, and that's what I want to hear. Keep making these good events. We got card builders coming soon. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. My throat is fucking killing me right now.